you're gonna need a lot of times you're gonna need to do conversions in real life, right? So if you are, let's say, a contractor, or if you are an electrician, or if you are a plumber, and you're trying to see how much material do you need to do this. You're measuring in feet. When you go to the store, they only sell you in meters, and you need to be able to convert between the two, right? Even when you're going, let's say, when you're going shopping and you want to see if how much does it cost, which one is cheaper. Like one gives you the price in kilogram, the other gives you the price in pounds. How are you gonna compare the two, right? So things like this is very important in life, no matter what strand you're in, no matter for your daily life or your work, it's important. Even though, let's say if you're driving here, right? Our unit here of driving is kilometer per hour, right? Speed. When you go to the States, it's miles per hour, right? If it says 60 miles per hour and you're actually driving 60 kilometers per hour, everyone will be honking at you because you're driving too slow, right? So it's things like this that you need, right? You need to know how to do. So imperial units is the units that they use in the States, okay? And the metric unit is the units that we use here in Canada. As I said earlier, use conversion factors to change, so we're changing imperial units to metric units, or vice versa. Now, when we're talking about a perimeter of a figure, what am I talking about?
All around.
It's the distance around the figure, right? So it's how much, if you're gonna go around that room, right? It's how much, like it's the distance around. How about the area? It's inside the figure. It's how many squares, right? It's a number of space units needed to cover. So if I'm gonna look at this, what would be my perimeter?
8 multiplied by length.
Length times width.
And 2 multiplied
Perimeter.
by 2 multiplied by
Times width.
length multiplied by width.
So it's 2 times length plus width, right? So what's your width?
4.
4. And that means this is 4. This is 2. This is 2, right? So if you want to go around, you have 6 and 6, which is 12, right? And that would be in meters or in whatever unit it is, right? Now, if I'm talking about the area, what am I talking about?
Inside boxes.
It's inside the box. So I'm talking about this, right? So how many squares takes to make this whole area?
8.
So you do 4 times 2, right?
Yeah.
Which is 8. Or you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the same thing. This is where they got it from. So the area is length times width, which is 8. Okay? So 8 what though?
8 meters squared.
Unit squared, right? Because I'm multiplying a unit times a unit, so it gives me a unit squared. Now to the 3D shapes. The 3D shapes, they don't have area and perimeter anymore. We have volume, right? Which kind of represents the area, but it's a volume because it's a 3D shape. So it's the amount of space.
We can
Should
say-
be road square here in space. Sorry, go ahead.
We can say depth, volume, or depth.
The depth is just the measure going down. The volume is more like the space that it takes, right? So the volume is the amount of space occupied. That was a square. I wrote space. I don't know by an object in cubic units. So remember that the units of a volume is the unit to the power of 3. Now the surface area is the area, or is the total area of the surface of an object, okay? So if, let's say I have this 3D object right here, which is this box, right? If you want to find the surface area of this box, I have to find the area of the top, the bottom, the sides, and add them all together, okay? So it's basically, anytime they're asking you like how much material do you need to make this box, right? You're looking at the surface area, okay? Which is the area of each side, okay? Now I would like you to open your green Duo Tank to the first page. It should be a purple page. And you're going to be using this table to convert. Okay? So we're converting between metric to metric, so that's the first table. Then you have imperial to metric, and then imperial to imperial. Okay? I'm going to show you how I'm used to doing it. If you have any other ways that you know and you want to use, go ahead and use it. But I'll show you what I do to do it, because it's visual, and this is basically, I learned this, maybe I was in grade 5 or something like that. And I still remember it to date because it's more visual to me. Okay? So I know how to set it up, and I know how to use it. Alright, so we're gonna have to, so the first one is converting between inches and centimeters. Inches and centimeters, so if you look in the table of conversions, you're gonna look at the table between imperial and metric, because inches is in imperial and centimeters is in metric, right? So which one would you use?
So we are the agenda, so I think imperial is metric.
We have to use what? The question is asking you to go from inches to centimeters. So we have to use which one from this table compares inches and centimeters.
First one.
The first row, right? The first row compares the inches to centimeters, right? So it says that every 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. That's what it means, okay? So every 1 inch equals to 2.54 centimeters. Are you guys okay with reading this table? Okay? So this is what I would write. I would write exactly what that thing tells me, right? So I write 1 inch equal, or instead of the equal, I put an arrow, 2.54 centimeters. You see that I'm including the units, right? It's very important that you include them. Now, this is from the table. Now I know that I have 5 1/4 of an inch, right? So 5.25 inches. Where would I place that if I want to place it? Where would I place it? There's 2 spots that I can place it. Where would I place it? Under the inches, because I compare inches to inches, right? So I have 5.25 inches, right? How many centimeters is that? That's the question. Right? That's what the question is asking you.
It's a quarter.
Multiply by 2.54 and divide by 1. So I know you don't need to divide by 1 because it's the same, but basically this is how I want you to think about it. I'm going to cross multiply, and then I'm going to divide across. Okay? So cross multiply and divide across. Alright? Dividing by 1 is not going to change your answer, but sometimes you will need to do that step, so that's why you have to get used to it. Put it in your head. So, I do 5.25 inches times 2.54 centimeters divided by 1 inch. You see that the inch and the inch will cancel each other, so you're going to be left with centimeters, right? So what's your answer? Should be
3,
So-
5, 3, 4.
Three. Yeah.
So we divided by 1 because it's inches, 1 inches
Yeah.
represent 2.4.
That's
Okay.
okay.
So do you use this thing for everyone?
What do you
So
mean?
they're all the same, like so for feet, yards, miles, they're all the same?
So you use whatever the formula, right? You use whatever row, right?
I can see.
But you can use the same method, right? But it will be written differently. So let's look at another example. Let's look at this one. Gallons of gas, 2 liters. So where do you see gallons and liters?
1 liter is equal to 3.785.
So that would be right there, right? Right? So 1 gallon is equal to 3.785 liters. Do you guys all see that? All right. So we're gonna write that down. So 1 gallon equals to 3.785 liters,
Okay.
right? Now I know I have 8 gallons. Where would I put that?
Okay.
Under the gallons, so you always have to line them up. You don't know what is it equal to.
Okay, so this is X
Cross multiply
divided by 1.
and divide by 1.
That's easy.
Cross multiply and divide by 1. So that would give me 8 gallon times 3.785 liters divided by 1 liter, right? So if you look, the liter and the liter would cancel. Sorry, divided by 1 gallon. Liter. The gallon and the gallon would cancel. And I will have, what would it be, 36? 30 point, what is it? 20. liters.
So we are going to use 1 gallon always to divide and
Well, because in this case, they gave you the gallons, right?
I mean any unit.
Yeah.
With 1. Divide with 1 to cancel the unit.
Yes, but sometimes, if they give you, let's say, okay, I'm gonna give you another question. If you have 10 liters, how many gallons would that be? So, 10 liters, 2 gallons. What do you do?
Divide.
Let's set it up. Okay? So when we set it up as 1 gallon equal to 3.785 liter. Right? Where do I put the 10 liters?
And liters
Under the 3,
Oh.
right? Because they're liters, so they have to match. Right? In this case, I have to cross multiply, right? But divide by 3.785. Okay? So you're multiplying by 1, but you're dividing by 3.785. So it'll be 10 liter times 1 gallon divided by 3.785 liter.
2.642.
Liter and liter would cancel. What is it again?
2.64.
And that would be gallon. Make sense? All right. Now sometimes things are not the same as in the table, okay? So, let's look at the next question. Are you guys done writing this? So the next question is asking you kilometers. So you have 7.3 kilometers squared to square miles. Okay? So if you look at on your table, do you have kilometers squared to square miles?
Miles,
Thousand miles per
Yeah.
kilometer, 1.609.
So we have miles to kilometer. We don't have kilometers squared. We don't have miles squared, do we? No. So I have to make it into square. Okay? So I'm gonna take this, which is every 1 mile equals to 1.609 kilometer, right? And I have to square it. Okay? So I have to square this, and I have to square that. Squaring this is going to be 1 mile squared, correct? Now, what is 1.609 kilometer squared?
It's a 2.59.
Okay? So now, because if you look at this, this is kilometers squared, this is kilometers squared, so now they match. Squared miles, squared miles. Now I can use this ratio to change the 7.3 into the miles squared. Again, it's the same idea. Cross multiply, so you multiply 7.3 by 1 and divide by 2.59. So 7.3 kilometers squared times 1 mile squared divided by 2.59 kilometers squared. So what do you get? Sorry? 2.82. And that would be miles.
One thing I didn't get.
What?
What is that 2.59 kilometers come from?
Kilometers squared?
Yeah, yeah.
When you square this,
Okay.
when you square 1.609, you're gonna get 2.459.
Okay.
You put like to the power of 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Does it make sense? Okay?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
let's look at the next one. 170 mils of water to fluid ounces. So look at the table. Do you see anything between milliliters and fluid ounces? What is it? So every 1 fluid ounce. There's differences between fluid ounce and ounce, okay? You have to be careful. So 1 fluid ounce is equal to 29.5735 milliliters.
Wow. Precise.
Okay? So I have 170 milliliters. I'm going to place it under the 170, under the 29. Cross multiply and divide by 29, correct? Okay. Something else that you need to figure sometimes, you have to use more than one to get to your final answer. So let's say if they give you that you want to go from just trying to find something. Inches to yards, let's say. Okay? If you go from inches to yards, I don't think there's any inches to yards, right? So if you look in the table, there's no conversion right away from inches to yard. So what you have to do, you have to go inches to feet, then feet to yard. Do you see that in the bottom in that table, right? So because you can't go right away from inches to yards, there's no conversion that we know in this table. So you sometimes have to go from inches to feet and feet to yard. Okay? So you have to use two conversions to get to your final answer. Okay? But you can always follow the same method. Alright? Now another thing is what we call the conversion between metric to metric, right? Anything that goes like this. So it could be grams or liters or anything that's metric, okay? So if you have, let's say, kilograms, and then after kilograms is hectograms, then deca, so this is even more. So this is hectograms, decagram, gram, decigram, centi. So I'm just gonna teach you how to use this and million. I'm gonna use the example grams. That could be meters, right, as well. So, if you're going down, you're gonna have to multiply, okay? So, look at this. If I have 1 kilograms, that is equal to 10 hectograms. That's equal to 100 decagrams. That's equal to 1,000 grams. It's equal to 10,000 decigrams, 100,000 centigram, and 1,000,000 milligram. So what's happening as you're going down, you're multiplying by 10 for every step you take down. Okay? So you're multiplying by 10 for every step you take down. Make sense?
So, okay, you multiply by 10 and the answer you multiply it again by 10.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you want to move from kilograms to grams, you're going down 3 times, so that's 1,000. So you multiply by 1,000. Okay? Now, if you're going back up, right? If you're going this way, you divide by 1,000. You divide by 10, sorry. Okay? So you're gonna go divide by 10. Divide by 10. For every step you take from whatever you have to whatever you're going to, you count how many steps you take, and you divide it by 10 that many times. Okay? So if you're going from grams, let's say, to kilograms, you're going to divide by 1,000 because you're going to take 3 steps. Okay? So this is how you read that little table that you have at the bottom. Are you guys okay with that?